Hey guys, welcome to Learn Today IGCSE. This video is a tutorial for Maths Paper 2, Variant 2 from May-June 2024 examinations. Question 1. The temperature at midnight is -4 degrees Celsius. The temperature at noon is 25 degrees Celsius. Work out the difference between these two temperatures. Work out difference means you have to take away the values that you have been given. So it will be 25 degrees Celsius minus -4, which will give us 29. Next, question 2. A gardener charges $6.55 for each hour he works plus a fixed charge of $15.50. Calculate the total amount he charges when he works for 4 hours. If he gets paid $6.55 per hour, then working for 4 hours we're going to multiply by 4, which gives us $26.20. And on top of that, he also gets paid a fixed charge of $15.50. So we're just going to add that up and you will have $41.70. Next, question 3. A delivery driver records the number of pizzas she delivers each month for 1 year. Complete the stem and leaf diagram. Okay, this is pretty simple. This is your stem and these are the leaf. So we're going to look for the number that begins with 2, which is 22 and 28. So the first number has been written here already. We will write the second number here on the leaf part. That will make 22. And then you've got 28. 20 has been written over here. And we will write the second value, which is 8. So we'll just repeat the same step for everything. And this is what you will get. Next question, part B. Find the median. To find the median, we're going to look for the middle. And to do that is very simple. I'll just like to cross out from the first number and the last number until we meet in the center. And this here would be the center. So the number which is between 44 and 48 would be 46. So the answer is 46. Next, question 4. Jonah has $750. He spends 1/4 of his money on travel and some of his money on food. He now has $437.50. Work out the fraction of the $750 he spends on food. So if Jonah has $750 and now the balance is $437, working out the difference of this value can give us the amount of money spent for both travel and food. Next, we know that 1/4 of his money is spent on travel. So 1/4 multiplied by the amount of money that he has, which is 750, would be 187.50. So this here tells us the amount of money spent for travel. So to get the amount of money spent on food, we will just take the total amount minus the money spent for travel, which is $125. This amount being written in fraction would give us 1/6. So the answer is 1/6. Next, question 5. The table shows part of a tram timetable. All the trams take the same number of minutes to complete the journey from New Point to West Hill. Complete the table. So it leaves New Point at 10:30 and arrive at West Hill. To find the amount of time taken, we'll find the difference. So 11:17 take away 10:30. This here is for the hours and this is for the minutes. 17 is a smaller number than 30, so we can't take away 30 from 17, meaning that we have to borrow 1 hour and give it to the minutes, which would be making it 77 minutes because 60 plus 17 is 77. Now 77 take away 30 is 47. So the journey takes 47 minutes. And just to double check, we will also calculate this. And this also takes 47 minutes. Since it all takes the same number of minutes, we are going to add 47 minutes to 12:18. So the time of arrival at West Hill is 13:05. Next, question 6. Write 0.04628 correct to two significant figures. So starting from here would be the first significant figure. This is your second significant figure. So we only need answer up to the two significant figures. Since the number after 6 is 2, so it will be 0.046. Next, question 7. On the Venn diagram, shade region A, union B. Union means everything, so we're going to shade everything of A and everything of B, like this. Next, question 8. Kai invests $5,000 in an account paying simple interest at the rate of R% per year. At the end of 8 years, the value of his investment is 5,700. Find the value of R. The question here is regarding simple interest. So let's first write down the formula for simple interest. The principal is the amount of money that is being invested, so that would be 5,000. The rate percent is what we're looking for, so we're going to leave it as unknown R. At the end of 8 years, 8 here is the time over 100. And the value of the investment after 5 years is 5,700. This means that he has gained a profit of 700. So 700 here would be the amount of our simple interest. Now rearranging this formula, we will get R equals to 1.75. Next, question 9. Describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle A, which is this, onto triangle B, which is this. What we can notice is that the size of A has become larger to B. This means that the type of transformation here is an enlargement. And to describe enlargement, you have to mention another two things. We have to look at the center of enlargement by connecting the vertex of this triangle. And next, these 2 points. And you can see that all the vertexes connects at this point, at the coordinate of 1 and -1, making this your center of enlargement. And the next thing you have mentioned is, what is the scale factor of this enlargement? As you can see, the size of this is 2 grid, and then it became 4 grid. This means that the triangle has enlarged at a scale factor of 2. Next, question B. On the grid, draw the image of triangle A after a translation by the vector -4 and 3. Translation means we just have to move the triangle. The number at the top represents the x-axis and the number at the bottom represents the y-axis. Since this is a negative value, it tells us that it has to move 4 boxes to the left. So let's take only 1 point and move it 4 boxes. And the number at the bottom represents what happens at the y-coordinate. Since it is a positive value, it will move upwards 3 boxes. So now we'll just continue to draw the triangle and label it as A0. Next, question 10. Write 174,000 in standard form. Standard form means we're going to change it to something times 10 to the power of something. So you can start by putting an imaginary decimal over here and then move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Putting the decimal here, becoming 1.74. Since we have moved 5 times, we're going to write times 10 to the power of 5. Question 11. A company surveys 40 of its employees. In the survey, 3 employees say they walk to work. The company has a total of 1,240 employees. Find the expected number of employees in the company who walk to work. Alright, so if 3 out of 40 employees walk to work, then we are required to find how many employees out of 1,240 employees walk to work. So we can solve this easily using the theory of ratio. The ratio of 40 to become 1,240 is by multiplying 31. So we are going to do the same for the numerator, and that will give us 93. So 93 of the employees walk to work. Next, question 12. The diagram shows a right-angled triangle. Calculate the value of x. So we have been given with the information of 2 sides and we're looking to find one angle. We can use the method of so ka han tua to solve this. Since this is the angle that we're looking for, the opposite of this angle is called the opposite. The longest side would be the hypotenuse, making this the adjacent. So we have the adjacent and we have the hypotenuse, which is A and H. So A and H meaning that we have to use ka. So cos x, which is the theta, the adjacent is 8.5 and the hypotenuse is 14. After rearranging x, this is what we will get, and you can just put all these values in your calculator and you will have 52.61. Next, question 13. Without using a calculator, work out 2 1/4 divided by 1 7/8. You must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. The first step I would like to do is change this into an improper fraction. That would be 9/4 divided by 15/8. Next, we're going to change the division into multiplication. In order to do that, we have to inverse one of the fraction. So it will be 8 over 15. Now we can just multiply the numerator, which is 9 multiplied by 8, 72, and multiply the denominator 4 by 15, which is 60. Now changing back 72 over 60 into a mixed number would be 12 over 60. And simplifying this would be dividing it by 12, which is 1, and 60 divided by 12 would be 5. So the final answer is 1 over 5. Next, question 14. A is the point 02 and B is the point 86. Find the equation of line AB. Give your answer in the form y equals to mx plus c. So we need to find the equation for the line AB. An equation has to be in the form of y equals to mx plus c. So to do that, we're going to first have to find the gradient, which is m. To find the gradient, there's a formula with y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the first coordinate can be our x1 and y1. The second coordinate will be our x2 and y2. Just substitute that into the formula and you will get a gradient of 1 over 2. And the next step would be to find the y-intercept. Y-intercept is when the line intercepts with the x-axis. So it intercepts at the coordinate of 2. That means the value of c would be 2. Now we just need to rewrite our equation by inserting the value of m and c. That would be y equals to 1 over 2x plus 2. Next, question 15. Three towns A, B, and C are equidistant from each other. Equidistant means the distance between A to B, B to C, and A to C are all equal. The bearing of C from A is 104 degrees. So from A to C, this is C and this is A. So from A to C would be this angle, which is 104 degrees. You are asked to calculate the bearing of B from C. So if you are required to calculate a bearing from a location, the first step that you should do is draw a perpendicular line to the point that they have mentioned from. We will use this line as an indication or the beginning of bearing, which is at 0 degree. So we are looking to calculate the bearing of B, which is over here. That means we are going to start from 0 degree over here up to the line of B. So this is the bearing, or this is the angle that we're looking for. The first half here would be 180 degrees, meaning that we are only required to find this tiny angle over here. As you can see here, there are two parallel lines, and the rule for parallel lines is that these two internal angles will add up to 180 degrees. So if this is 104, then the angle over here would be 180, take away 104, which is 76 degrees. And we know that the sum of interior angles for the triangle is 180 degrees. Since this is an equidistant, which is an equilateral triangle, all the internal angles would be 60 degrees, which adds up to be 180. Now the angle here is a straight line, meaning that the sum would be 180 degrees. If this angle here is 76, take away 76, and this is 60 degrees. So we can find the balance by just taking away by 180, which is 44 degrees. So the bearing of B from C would be angle of 180 up till here. So 180 degrees add up with the little angle that is over here, which is 44. And the value would be 224 degrees. Next, question 16. The speed time graph shows information about a car journey. Find the deceleration of the car between 240 and 320 seconds. Between 240 and 320 would be this region, and we are going to look for the deceleration here. The formula to find deceleration is the same as acceleration, which is final velocity, take away initial velocity over time. So this is initially where it started at 60 meters per second and it stopped at 0 meters per second. So 0 meters per second take away 60 meters per second over the change of time. The change of time is 320 minus 240, which is 80. If you just put this value in the calculator, you would get 0.2. Now, a negative acceleration means that it is decelerating. So your final value for deceleration would just be 0.2 meters per second square. There's no need for negative. Next, calculate the total distance for the car travels during the 320 seconds. To calculate a distance for a speed time graph, we're going to have to look for the area under the graph. We can divide this into three separate shapes. The first one being a triangle. And to calculate the area of the triangle, we're going to use the formula of triangle, which is half multiply the base, which is 30, multiply the height, which is 16. which would be 240. Next, we're going to find the area of the second shape, which is this rectangle. The height of the rectangle is 16, and the length of the rectangle is 30 to 240, which is 210. So we're going to multiply 210 by 16, which is length times height, giving you 3,360. And finally, the area of the triangle, which is half, multiply by the length here, which is 80, and multiply the height, which is 16. And that would be 640. Now we can just add up all the areas, and that would give us 4,240 meters. Next, question 17. W is the Venn diagram for students who walk to school, and G are for the students who wear glasses. There are 20 students in a class. It means that the total here is 20. 8 of those who walk to school, 3 of them who wears glasses and walk to school, and 2 do not wear glasses and do not walk to school. So 3 wears glasses and walk to school. Those who wear glasses fall in this circle, and those who walk to school fall in this circle. If they're doing both, it means that it falls in this region. And we know that there are 3 students who do this. Next, we know that 2 of them do not wear glasses, not in this region, and they do not walk to school, not even in this region. That means the number of 2 students would be here. We also know that 8 students walk to school, so the total number of students who walk to school would be 8. If there's already 3 students here, then the rest of the 5 would be here. So this sums up to 8. Now we have got a total of 20 students. Take away 8 students who walk to school and take away 2 students who do not do either one would leave us with 10 students. So that would be over here. Now just to double check, if you sum up all these numbers, you would get a total of 20. Next, question 18. The graph of y equals to fx is drawn on the grid. Draw the tangent to the graph at the point x equal to 3. So this is x equal to 3, and we are asked to draw a tangent at this point. So this is what a tangent looks like. I think it's best if we elongate them, so I'm going to draw it like this instead. Next, question B. Use your tangent to find an estimate for the gradient of the curve at this point. Okay, so look for gradient. The formula is the same as before, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to have to pick 2 points furthest from each other and then substitute it into our formula. I will be taking this point, which is 2 and 0, and the next one would be here, which is 4.2 and 11.6. So this will be x1 and y1, this would be x2 and y2, and you would get 5.3. Now, not everyone's tangent is going to look the same, meaning that not all the gradient would be exactly 5.3. As long as your answer is within the region of 4.9 to 5.5, that means your tangent is correct. Next, question 19a. Y is directly proportional to x minus 1 squared. When x is 4, y is equal to 3. And we are asked to find y when x equals to 7. Okay, directly proportional means it's equal to like this. And we're going to have to put a constant. It has mentioned to us that when x equals to 4, y is equal to 3. So the first step here is going to be to find the value of k, which is 1 over 3. Now that we have found the value of k, we can rewrite our equation and substitute the value of k that was found previously. Y equals to 1 over 3, and the new value of x is now 7. So 7 minus 1 squared. Now we can find the value of y, which is 12. Next, question B. M is inversely proportional to the square root of p. If it's inversely proportional, we're going to write our constant k over the square root of p. So this is the square root of p. Remember, directly proportional means it's going to be equal like this, and inversely proportional means whatever that is being mentioned would be under the fraction in your denominator, and the constant would be the numerator. Okay, explain what happens to the value of m when the value of p is multiplied by 9. Okay, assuming right now that if the value of p is, let's say, 9, which being square root would be 3, 3 moved to the other side would give us 3m. If this value is now multiplied by 9, so that would be 9 times by 9, which is the square root of 81, which would be the square root of 81, 9. So 9 being brought up to the other side would be 9 multiplied by m equals to k. So as we can see, when it is multiplied by 9, the value of m has increased 3 times bigger. So that would be your answer. Next, question 20. Two parcels are mathematically similar. The larger parcel has a volume of 80 centimeter cube and a height of 5.2 centimeter cube. And then the smaller parcel has a volume of 33.75 centimeter cube. And we are asked to calculate the height of the smaller parcel. This is from the subtopic of congruent and similarity. In order to solve this type of question, the first thing that we have to do is to look for the scale factor. Since this question is about volume, we have to remember that volume is a 3-dimension, which means that to get the volume, we will use length, multiply the width, and multiply height, which is 3-dimensional. So the scale factor here would be to the power of 3, which shows us that this is in 3 dimension. So k to the power of 3, which is the scale factor, would be the larger volume divided by the smaller volume. So to get the scale factor of just k, we're going to bring 3 to the other side, which would be square root of 3, which then gives us 4 over 3. Okay, now that we have obtained the value of k, we can use this to find the height. So if the larger volume has a height of 5.2, if it gets smaller by 4 over 3. So 5.2 centimeters divided by 4 over 3 would give us 3.9 centimeters. Remember that if this question was comparing the area of two shapes, which are mathematically similar, then your scale factor would be k to the power of 2. If you're comparing just two mathematically similar length, then it would be k to the power of 1, which is just as it is, k. Next, question 21. Solve the simultaneous equation and you must show all your working. So this is your first equation and this is the second equation. So we're going to substitute the second equation into the first equation. So y would be x squared minus 18 plus 3x equals to 13. We'll just open up the bracket and rearrange the equation into a quadratic equation. And once we have obtained the quadratic equation, we will find the value of x. To solve this, you can use your calculator. This will be the value of a, this will be the value of b, and this will be the value of c. Just put into your calculator and you will get 2x value. The first x is 17 over 4 and the second x is negative 5. So we'll just reverse this, meaning you'll get x plus 5 because x plus 5 equals to 0, bringing 5 to the other side become minus 5. Will give us negative 5. That's how we got negative 5. So if we reverse, we will get x plus 5. And the same thing over here. If I bring 4 to this side, it will be 4x. And then 17 to the other side would be minus 17. So 4x minus 17. Once you have done that, and then you can repeat to show how you got the x value without the help of the calculator. Okay, now that we have got 2x value, we will substitute that into the equation of y. So the first x value was 17 over 4, giving us a value of y 1 over 16. And when x is negative 5, you'll get a value of y equals to 7. And you can write your final answer in the space given. Next, question 22. For each sketch, put a ring around the correct type of function shown. Okay. These are some examples of graphs that you should know. A straight line means that it's a linear graph. If you have a U shape or a sad smiley face, that would be quadratic. A linear could also look like this, as long as it's a straight line. And a graph with an S shape like this, or it could also look like this, is known as a cubic graph. Then you've got two C's on the opposite side, or on these two sides, that would be a reciprocal graph. And finally, the ones that goes all the way up like this or like this is an exponential graph. So this graph that we have here is a cubic graph. Next, question 2. This one here looks like this. So that here would be a reciprocal graph. Next question. On the graph, sketch the curve y equals to sine x for 0 to 360 degrees. So a sine x graph would look like this. Next, part 2. Solve the equation sine x plus 0.4 equal to 0 for 0 degree up till 360 degree. Alright. The first thing we're going to look is for the value of x, which is the value of our angle theta. Since theta here is our subject, we're going to bring the rest of the terms on the other side. Theta equal to negative 23.578. In order to solve this, you must know the sequence of your angle. As you can see over here, the value of our sine angle is a negative value. And sine negative falls in quadrant 3 and falls in quadrant 4. Since this is 0 to 360, that means that we will consider all 4 quadrants. So firstly, at quadrant 3, we're going to do 180 plus theta. So that will be 180 plus 23.578. We will not include the negative value because the negative value here only indicates which quadrant that we are going to use. So the first value of theta is going to be 203.578. And since negative sign falls in quadrant 4, it's going to be 360 degree, take away theta. That will be 360 degree, take away 23.578, which is 336.422 degree. Make sure you remember this sequence and the formula that I have highlighted in the green highlighter to indicate the value of your theta. Next, question 23. The Venn diagram shows information about the number of students in a class. Some students study English. These are all the number of students that study English. Some students study French and some students study Spanish. And some do not study any of these languages. The one that doesn't study any languages fall outside of the circles. Find the number of students E union F, this means without, and then union again with S. First, we need to solve whatever that's in the bracket, which is E union F. How I like to solve this is first writing down all the values in each circle. E union F means everything. So these values. However, it have this symbol here that means we have to exclude all these values. So we are going to be left with 4 and 5. Only 4 and 5 falls under here. And then we're going to union 4 and 5 with S. Union means everything. So all of 4, 5 and all of S. So the number of students would be all of S being added up together with these two values, giving us 15. Next, one student is picked at random from those who study Spanish. Find the probability that this student studies exactly 2 languages. So we're looking to find probability within students who study Spanish. The number of students who study Spanish are 4, plus 2, plus 1, and plus 3, which in total is 10 students. And we're looking to find for the probability that out of these 10 students, how many of them studies 2 languages. So if you study 2 languages, it could be Spanish and French. So that would be 3 students. And those who take Spanish and English are another 2 students. The reason why we can't include 1 is because 1 falls under the region of studying English, French, and Spanish, which is 3 languages in total. So we have got 5 students who studies 2 different languages. So the probability of 2 languages here would be 5 over 10. Simplifying this fraction would give us 1 over 2. Next, question 24. O is the origin and OPQR is a parallelogram. M is the midpoint of PQ and N divides QR in the ratio of 2 to 1. O to P is A and O to R is B. Find vector M to N. So we need to find the value of vector M to N, which is this line. To find the vector M to N, we can go from M to Q and then from Q back to N. Since this is a parallelogram, if O to P is A, then R to Q will also be A. And if O to R is B, then P to Q is also B. Now, since M is the midpoint of the line P to Q, so this would be half a B and M to Q would be half B. So the vector of M to Q is 1 over 2B. Add with Q to N. Now Q to N and N to R is split in the ratio of 2 to 1. If you have a question like this which they mention that it has been split into a certain ratio, what you can do is add up your ratio together, that would be 2 plus 1, giving you 3. Then you change this into a fraction, put the total of ratio as your denominator. So that means this side would be 2 over 3 and then N to R would be 1 over 3. The entire line has a vector of A, so that would be 2 over 3A and this would be 1 over 3A in the direction of R towards Q. However, we are looking towards Q to N, which is in the opposite direction. So Q to N here would be negative 2 over 3A. So we can change the plus to negative 2 over 3A. So this is your vector. Next question B. The lines MN and OR are extended to meet at S. We are asked to find the position vector of S. So we're looking to find the vector of O to S. So to find vector O to S, we can go O to R and then R to S. Since we already know the vector O to R, we can just write the value here P. And now we just need to find what is the vector of R to S. This type of question is quite common, where two lines are extended and you are asked to find the vector. How I usually like to do this is by comparing two triangles that are mathematically similar. So the line R to N is perpendicular to this line. So we can label this midpoint as Z. Now we can compare the green lines with the pink line. The green line goes M to Z all the way up to S. And then you've got the pink line that goes N to R and then all the way to S. So we can compare them in the form of ratio. R to S over R to N is equal to Z to S over Z to M. We are looking to find R to S, so we'll just leave it as RS. Over R to N, we already found out earlier that R to N is 1 over 3A. So that would be 1 over 3A equal to Z to S. Z to S is actually Z to R and then R to S. Z to R and then R to S. Z to R is half of B. So I will substitute Z to R as 1 over 2B. Over Z to M. Z to M is parallel to O to P, so that would be A. Alright, from here onwards it's pretty simple. We're just going to solve it like how we solve a fraction. Since both the denominators have A, we can cancel them out and then cross multiply it, giving us RS equal to 1 over 3 bringing it to the other side. That would be 1 over 6B plus 1 over 3 R to S. We can group all R to S to one side, so bring R to S to this side. R to S minus 1 over 3 R to S, which would be 2 over 3 R to S. And the next thing, we're going to bring 2 over 3 to this side. Since this is a multiplication, bringing 2 over 3 here would be a division. Now you can put 1 over 6 divided by 2 over 3, and that would simplify to 1 over 4. So R to S is 1 over 4B. R to S is 1 over 4B. Add this up together, we would get 5 over 4B. So the position vector of S, which is O to S, would be 5 over 4B. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, please ask me in the answer sections below. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel so you can watch more of it. Thank you, have a nice day, take care, bye bye.